We're talking about a digital watchdog product called CloudCam. Okay. And has a good little tagline, intelligence, cloud surveillance simplified. And we're going to go over a few things today. Number one, why choose a CloudCam? How CloudCam solves real problems. It's an out-of-the-box solution. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about cybersecurity, the different product types, the model numbers and specs and things like that. And then, of course, some contact information, things like that. Again, you guys can ask questions either in the chat or in the Q&A box, and I will answer them at the end. So if you got some questions, by all means, please don't have to save them to the end. Type them in there, and we'll go and look at them later. So let's get started. All right. So why choose a CloudCam? Number one, there's no server necessary. No NVRs, nothing like that. It has onboard storage, the Spectrum server software built into it. All right. So there's no on-prem black box. What you need are a camera or cameras, a PoE switch, and an internet connection. The other thing is it's fast setup. So these are AI cameras. Sometimes AI cameras require some calibration and whatever. These require no calibration out of the box. It'll function properly. All right. It even has AI intrusion detection for objects and people already activated. All right. So you're going to get smart AI alerts out of the box with our deep learning AI built into the camera to give you accurate notifications. You're going to know if it's a person behind a building at 9 o'clock at night. And then, of course, we're built to cybersecurity in mind. We're NDAA, TAA compliant, along with being a SOC 2 Type 2 compliant service provider. CloudCam will solve some real world problems. Okay. So one is too much footage to review. You're looking through unimportant footage, which can quickly eat up a lot of time. You can go into Spectrum, and if you want to, only find persons or cars or trucks or items like a bag left behind. With the ALPR CloudCam, you could also search for license plate numbers, and also car types. I want to see the 4 trucks that came by and so on. And using the cloud, and the fact that each camera is really its own server will actually simplify install and setup, because you're not having to have a black box to manage, which is managing a whole bunch of IP addresses. You're using Spectrum to manage these cameras. And of course, as we spoke about before, a high security profile with the cameras. So let's look at Spectrum and CloudCam. The user experience, so those of you that have used Spectrum before, the user experience is identical, okay, to using one. There you have a Spectrum server. All right. You're able to combine multiple CloudCams, which are multiple servers, into what we call a merge. So you're able to merge the systems. You can have 1 camera in a system, 30 in a system, or more with management via DW Cloud or DW Enterprise. All right. How they'll function is the same, whether you have the mobile app, you're running it on a tablet, you're running it on a PC or a Mac, or even a Linux desktop. The OS works identically. You'll be able to search and even see AI detections at the bottom, which will appear as little yellow ticks on the timeline at the bottom, along with being able to dewarp 360 cameras and all the other things that Spectrum does. There's a ton of features, a ton of ways to search for things, and you can use every single one of those features are the same. All right. So you're not missing out on something because you're using this CloudCam, which you'd think would be less capable server than a big box with a bunch of fans and a bunch of hard drives in it. So with a full web interface for administration from anywhere, you can go into these devices and add, remove a user, set camera parameters. And if you're an enterprise MSP, you can create organizations and do all this all from this web interface, which means you don't even have to use the main client to manage the system. You can just use a web browser. So CloudCam has the analytics at the edge. So you don't have to worry about the licensing. The licensing is built into the cameras. They're included on the cameras. The AI will monitor for you, meaning if something happens, someone walks in the wrong area, you'll be alerted. It allows you to pinpoint relative information. Okay, so if you're looking through an ALPR camera, you want to find, you have a partial plate, and the plate is, I don't know, 996 or WTZ or something, you can go and look for just a partial plate. So it'll give you more information and real actionable intelligence, along with using less hard drive space. Okay, and again, we're going to talk about CloudCam. We're going to talk about some of the extra features in Spectrum Enterprise. Here are the algorithms that are built into the CloudCam with its Edge AI. Okay, so you've got, and I won't go through all of these, but appear, disappear, which means something disappeared, right? Something stopped, something entered an area, something exited an area, whether it was a person or car or truck. You have counting, okay? You have intrusion, tailgating, and one that gets used a lot, which is the dwell, which is basically loitering, okay? So detection zones, you can create 40 detection zones per camera, okay? You can detect tampering to the camera, like the camera being spray painted, and we're outputting the metadata. So in Spectrum, you'll see the bounding box around the objects, and it does its best to describe the color of the object and type of object it is. So it's really a complete solution, allow you to create complex rules very easily. Okay. Again, if you guys want, at the end, we're going to talk about some resources on our website. Obviously, reach out to some of our salespeople, and we also have sales engineers, which can show you some of the functionality built inside the CloudCam and the MEGApix AI. So system security. So Digital Watchdog, because we have these cloud offerings, our SaaS offering, including Spectrum Enterprise and MyDW, we've put security at top of mind. So not only being a SOC 2 Type 2 compliant organizations, we have added two-factor authentication to all these things. We've used encrypted communication and role-based access control, okay, which means you can tighten these down and have a person who can only see one camera and maybe play it back if you want them to. Or you can have it open so this way an administrator can go in and manage the device. And again, the camera is the server, okay? So it has the storage, 1 terabyte of storage on it. And now we're going to talk about the features, the different models we have, and the specifications. So right now, we have a bullet camera, 4K, 30 frames a second, varifocal lens, what is that, 2.7 to 13.5 millimeter, strong IR, 140-foot IR, has the umbrella chipset, and it's designed for cold start, meaning if it's in the back of someone's truck for a few days and they happen to be in Canada or Montana or somewhere where it's chilly, it will jump up and still operate afterwards. We have the ALPR bullet, which reads license plates and also will give you make, model, color of the vehicle, 130-foot IR. Actually, we can show you one on our demo website anytime you want. Our bullet with the ultra-wide view, 175-degree field of view. And we have a Vandal dome and a turret camera, sorry. I was going to say turret bullet. Turret camera, but it also has different color lighting built into it. White, red, and blue lights. You can set to strobe, on alert, do different things using the video analytics. I'm just going to check and see if there's any comments or anything yet in the chat. Let's see. Not yet. Please put questions in the chat when you come across them. So with the CloudCams, all the licenses are installed. For example, if you have the ALPR camera, it has both the ALPR activated in it and the MEGApix AI activated. So you can have the people tracking in the camera along with the ALPR, and there's no real calibration needed. You point the camera, you get it set up right, you can see the plates going by, or in a case of seeing people wandering around, it can do all those things. So next, we're going to talk about is Spectrum Enterprise. So CloudCam is the perfect product for Spectrum Enterprise because generally speaking, when people use one of these types of devices, they're taking the camera and they're putting it out on a site by itself. Now, there might be 2 or 3 at the site or 5 at the site, but there tends to be, in the end, a lot of sites, just a few camera counts. We have customers that put cameras out in construction sites, and they want to see what's going on. And they have a server out there, and it's going to get very hot, get very cold. There's going to be rain. There's going to be all this other stuff they have to protect that server from. Because our cameras already have this protection on it, there's less devices out there. Then they can go and get a PoE switch and their internet connection, and their camera situation is done. And plus, like I said, with the AI. So with enterprise, we give them a new structure where you can have a unified user management. So you can create one user for that organization and drop it into all the cameras. And in the case of, let's say, oh, that user, they've changed jobs or whatever, you can then turn them off from all these cameras, all these separate servers. Okay. And the same thing if you have a full-blown server Spectrum Enterprise. That unified notifications, the same thing, allows you to scale users or devices infinitely. All right. Infinitely meaning whatever the cloud will do. And again, you can just do things with a few mouse button clicks in this web-based portal versus going into a client and trying to manage it from there, which you can do, but adding users, removing users, different things can be done all from this Spectrum Enterprise Cloud Portal or the DW Cloud Portal. So getting on to special features of Spectrum Enterprise, special features in here include access to DW Maps, which is a GIS mapping tool, which allows the Spectrum solution to go in and not only see the cameras, but allow you to set up their field of view. Is it a 3D map? Or in this case, on this picture here, it's a 2D map, but you can see 3D map, visualize, hey, this thing is pointing, this camera is pointing in this direction. Something happened over here. Let me click on it and I'll see it. But the camera is also the server. So again, you've got this one device out there doing several different things. The other thing it'll give you access to is if you needed extra storage, it's going to be DW Cumulus. Okay, it's powered by Seagate Live, so we're putting in the cloud with our friends at Seagate. You have your local storage, which is 1 terabyte, which if managed properly using objects and stuff like that can give you over 90 days of storage. We figured it at a certain frames a second recording, and so we came to about 90 days of storage for 1 terabyte, 1 camera. All right, so Cumulus is available for DW Spectrum servers and CloudCam products that are members of Spectrum and Enterprise organization. Okay, so you can scale up and say, I want my cameras, I need a few extra terabytes. I need 10 terabytes, I need 20 terabytes or whatever. And then the cameras will report that up there while still recording video locally. In keeping with Spectrum Enterprise, you can become a Digital Watchdog MSP, okay, which is our SaaS cloud platform. Okay, as a reseller, you'll be able to manage your clients from a single dashboard, all for health monitoring. And what you need to do is join our CPP program and fill out the form. So you go to our homepage, you click the Partner Portal button at the top. If you're a CPP member, you log in, scroll down the page to this MSP downloading. And when you fill it out, you'll become the ability to handle MyDW, which is our health monitoring, which we spoke about last week, and I guess last month. And we have a bunch of information on our website about it, along with being a Spectrum Enterprise MSP. And this will get you ready for more reoccurring revenue. Okay. Very important part of this. So again, you can go see CloudCam, some more features. I didn't go over every feature. And we have our whole Digital Watchdog videos website. I'm not going to say https:/, right? digitalwatchdog.com videos, and go in and do it, or CloudCam, or just go to the Digital Watchdog website, search for CloudCam, and you'll come up with pages of information and things like that.